So is United States of America now the divided states of America? America split wide open. In fact, that's the top band we are going to put. Divided states of America. Trump's anti-immigration rhetoric. Is it only worsening that divide? What is Donald Trump's endgame, if he has any? Joining me now, Irfan Nuruddin, Professor, Georgetown University from Washington, D.C. joins me. And also Andrew Latham, Professor at Macalester College, is joining me. Appreciate both of you joining us. Irfan Nuruddin, your first responses to the kind of scenes we've seen, yes, in just one part of Los Angeles, but it's now spread to even Atlanta. Is there a sense that Donald Trump's anti-immigration rhetoric is sparking it off, or is there something else to it?
Well, I mean, everything about Donald Trump's behavior over the last 4 months has probably led to this moment. He has engaged in probably the most elaborate anti-democratic set of actions by any US president in living history. His anti-immigration rhetoric is dangerous, it is immoral, and his use of US federal military troops, the National Guard, and now mobilizing the Marines, is arguably unconstitutional. So what we have is a democratic crisis. It has taken the particular form of, in the last few days in Los Angeles, as being also about the anti-immigration enforcement, very militarized enforcement by the federal government. But one has to remember that this has been the culmination of months of protests, peaceful protests in the United States against the sense that Trump is violating the core essence of what America is and what America aspires to be. The fact that it has spread across the country is to be expected. Part of it is we have on June 14th a spectacle unlike any other in American history. Trump is throwing himself a military parade for his birthday, and ostensibly in honor of the army. It's going to cost the American taxpayer some $150 million to have tanks rolling down the streets of Washington, D.C. And across the country in 1,500 different cities of the United States, peaceful protests are being organized. So I think we want to separate the protest activity, which is protected by the American Constitution and the First Amendment, against a president who is deeply unpopular and extremely divisive, from the acts of violence which should be deplored and condemned because they delegitimize the entire movement and frankly play into the hands of Donald Trump. But I want to just say, Rajdeep, I'm living in Washington, D.C., right? A lot of the public perception might be that D.C. is a war zone. It isn't. I was downtown yesterday by the White House. It is just a perfectly normal city, people going about their business as normal, and hopefully that will continue to be. Right. But I do think you're going to see a lot of protest activity, and hopefully it all stays peaceful.
You know, Professor Professor Andrew Latham there at Macalester College, there's a sense, Andrew Latham, that look at the kind of scenes also that we are seeing. This, it is not just anti-immigrant rhetoric, surely, that is sparking it off. This is criminal behavior. Apple shops are being looted in parts of Los Angeles. You've had the protesters targeting the police. As Irfan Nuruddin said, all of this is giving a handle to Donald Trump to say these immigrants are actually criminals.
Well, first of all, let me say this. I'm an immigrant to this country. I was not born here. That's a long story. Secondly, though, I think I'm agreeing with my colleague that this is a constitutional issue. Although he didn't invoke the appropriate act, Donald Trump has federalized what in this country is the National Guard. It's a state thing. He federalized it and mobilized the National Guard, and then deployed 700 United States Marines to deal with a problem. It is a problem, but local police can probably take care of these riots, if I can use that term.
So are you saying this is Washington in a way trying to emphasize its dominance over states? Are we also seeing, in a way, the federal compact of America slowly cracking apart because Donald Trump wants to concentrate power around himself?
That's exactly right. I think that the federalization of the military in connection with law enforcement, it's not unprecedented, but you would have to go back to the Civil War. I think this is frightening, but also simply just a reflection of who Donald Trump is as president. And this is the way he thinks and the way the people in his penumbra think and operate.
Can he get
And
away? Can he get away with it given the presidential powers, or do you see this worsening? Do you believe this is an isolated instance, given that the crackdown has taken place in and around LA on immigrants, or do you believe this could spread across other parts of America as well?
well, we're going to have to wait and see how the legal process unfolds here. This is eventually going to end up not just at the district court level, and not even at the appellate court level, but it's going to end up at the Supreme Court level. And it's not just Donald Trump, it's the presidency. Is the presidency of the United States empowered, entitled, or otherwise allowed to usurp these powers and deploy these forces in the way that he has? And when I look at this particular iteration of the United States Supreme Court, I think they're going to tell him, no, you can't do this.
Okay. Given what you've just said, Irfan Nuruddin, your final word on it. Do you believe that this could get worse before it gets better? As you said, Donald Trump on the 14th of June wants to make another statement by having this kind of army parades across America. Is he fundamentally changing America? And therefore, that could result in more and more resistance and pushback, not just from the courts, but from civil society as well.
I think more protests, more demonstrations against Mr. Trump and his policies are going to be the prediction for me. I mean, I think what you're seeing over here is the bubbling over of months of discontent. And frankly, of course, we live in a very divided world, Rajdeep, as you know well, and our media ecosystems amplify that which we already think is true. So those watching this coverage on Fox News are going to see images that confirm for them that cities like Los Angeles and New York and Atlanta and Washington are criminal dens that need to be cracked down on. Those getting their news from MSNBC and CNN are going to see a deeply militarized response to that violates norms and constitutional processes against what is essentially a law and order problem. So that continues. And until we have the next set of major elections, which unfortunately are not till November of 26 and the midterm elections, there is no clear constitutional way in which the president is rebuked.
Right.
But the truth is that, there are at every stage lots more public protests coming. That is for sure.
Let me leave it there. Irfan Nuruddin and Professor Latham joining me from the United States. I appreciate you joining me to give us the very latest on what's been happening there.